This is another video by Jenna Strawberry. Um, Today, I'm thinking about the doctor because I have a doctor's visit to go to, and I like my new doctor a lot. She's already helped a whole bunch, and so I'm happy about that, but I always have anxiety before I go places, and I spend hours and hours just trying to understand what is it this time and how to resolve my personal feelings and fears because I have a lot. Oh, but sometimes it's frustrating because thinking it through, sometimes it's not my fault. And it's frustrating to realize that the medical system, the healthcare system in the country of the US where I live is still highly inadequate to take care of the most of the population. Because Bernie Sanders has been telling us, you guys, for years, the truth about the 1%, right? That 99% of the world's, of the country's wealth, we'll say, not the world, because that's probably inaccurate, but 99% of the wealth in the country is held by 1% of the population. That means most people are poor. And so when you think of it that way, it's kind of scary. And I don't think it's the Illuminati, you guys. I just think it's those families that own the largest corporations that have bought up everything like Monopoly. Alright? And so, like, Coke owns everything. One chunk of, like, company after company after company. You look at something like Nestle and you don't know who owns Nestle, the company, because it could be another company that owns Nestle. You know what I mean? And I can't keep track. And honestly, it depresses me, so I try not to think about it because I don't want to obsess over all the little details as though I can. I don't want to choose the things that I buy or exist on based on the bad things that the other people are doing and trying to avoid them because there's too many, you know? And I can't afford it. I can't afford to be that particular. I just need to be able to use whatever little money I have to actually get something that I need. If I can do that, I'm doing okay. But I can't have my money wasted. And so this goes right back around to the doctor thing because more than half of the doctor's visits that I've had and the counselor's appointments that I've had have done nothing or made me worse because of inappropriate care. And it's like what we're expecting, and so people just keep telling you not to complain. And I'm being more professional than the doctor is, to be honest, about the situation. And that's part of what keeps happening, not with every person, but too many times for me, alright? And I'm the one who has the problems coming and asking for help. I know people are only human, but still, it's the system. Because when it comes down to it, the doctor acts like we're playing poker. And she won't tell me anything but what I ask. And she won't refer me to anyone unless I've looked it up all online and learned it myself. I thought the doctor was supposed to know. Because I can't do medical research right now. It's a trigger for me. It's one of the things I used to spend too much time on, is obsessing over how to care for my body. And I'm sick, so that was reasonable, but now I'm going to the doctors and I need to do one thing at a time and try to follow medical science advice, and I want to do that, but the healthcare system fights me. The only thing I have going for me is that I have zero income. And that's why I get medical coverage that doesn't have a deductible. But that means they will only even tell you about things that they're going to cover. And so it's kind of a lie, because they're not giving you all the information. And if you need it, it's like they have to wait until you're dying with everything, even if you could see it coming. It's not the best care out there. So, it's like the buddy system. If you're having problems like that, having a friend with you at the doctor, just like you would at the hospital, sometimes makes the care much more conscientious of you. And you do get better care because people know someone's there watching them, holding them accountable, and it's not just you. It's not just one-on-one. Yeah, you have to, like, outnumber them just to get them to, like, yeah, like holding a gun on them. You should be able to go and have people do their job. But it's too much pressure from the system because they have different rules that they have to follow depending on what your healthcare coverage is. So it's all about the money, all about saving the money, even though there's a lot of waste, money waste, lack of recycling, even if they have the methods, just throwing away a lot of anything that's not perfect. And they're not the only ones. That's happening in all kinds of corporations. I used to help clean a Verizon wireless store, and they threw away just packs of unopened cardstock that they were going to use for some promotion, unprinted, just in the package, thrown away in the trash. Again and again. Not just one time, like regularly. It's like just nauseating, you know? When you're a poor person and you're really careful with your money, and then you see the people who have the money are just fucking throwing it away after a while. Once you're over a certain income bracket, you don't remember the fact that people need food and clothes and housing. It's fucking insane. But so on a positive note, I'm thinking, what if there was more representation for the patient at a doctor's visit or at a hospital visit? Like someone who's on staff, who doesn't work for the hospital, but works for, say, like a social worker who would be on your side and help you with what you need. Even if you're not disabled, someone who's there like they are when you go to court. There are people just there to help you figure out what they're doing. And tell people what the rules are because everyone's nervous. And if you've done it wrong, to tell you go back before you go through before you have to pay anything. You shouldn't have to pay for a doctor's visit. That was a waste of time. But you do. If there was someone there to represent and to be on your side, even though they're a neutral third party, you know what I mean? But they're for you, and to facilitate the communication between you and the doctor, because the doctor and the patient are not thinking about the same things. They're trying to communicate inside versus outside. This is the symptoms that I'm having. But sometimes you don't know the words for them because it's your own body. And everyone, different people are different. Different people think differently. feel differently. So, yes, you can communicate about it, it's possible, but it's easy for it to go wrong. It's easy for it to be confused, and it's easy to not have trust between you and the doctor, and then that's really not right. So, like social workers on call for each doctor's room that you're gonna have patients in, you know? Or like, yeah, like a guidance counselor that works at the doctor. So that somebody's job is like, what do they call that? The person in the office who does interpersonal stuff, you know? The HR. I was thinking PR and I'm like, that's not right. The HR person. Yeah, like an HR person that's for the customers as well. Because in that situation, yeah, just somebody who does just that, who's not busy with appointments because that's what they were doing. If you stay long in a hospital, they have people like that come through. My sister was in the hospital for a few months after she was in a really bad car accident one time. And there was a recreational therapist that came in. A lady, one time she brought a dog. One time she took my sister and I went with them down to the wing of the hospital that's for Alzheimer's patients, where they have this cute um, little pretend like grocery store, and you get to walk around with a little pretend cart and there's little pretend like grocery items, and it was really cute and fun, and I had no idea they even had that down there. It was like a magical day after being in the hospital day after day after day after day. It's just so bleak in there and the smells are weird, you know? It's like farty and cleaning chemicals all day. It just smells like farts and cleaning chemicals and beeps, and it's just fucking like bad environment to be sick in. At least they have a TV, you know? That was like the one fun thing. Plenty of weird movies. I saw Seven Monkeys or whatever. I didn't understand it, but at least it sort of kept me distracted for a while, you know? And it was weird enough. As weird and creepy as whatever I was thinking, but without any context. Sometimes that kind of helps. Just like clear your mind out when you're just too stressed, or you're at the doctor and you're just thinking about everyone dying and illnesses and keep smelling like farts all day. It's just like, ugh. The cafeteria food is good though. Yeah, at some places. Anyway, I hope that's where things are heading, and I know that in reality, things have to go one step at a time. Mobs are real, and there are a lot of crazy people out there. Even if it's not their fault, they have capability to do damage and to cause trouble, and it's just practical to kind of do it slowly and don't alarm anyone, even though, because there are many people that understand their rights are like a lie. And a lot of people are fed up, but there are a lot of the people that understand what's going on are patient, because they're patient enough to understand what's the problem up at the top. Where is this coming from, you know? Because you're experiencing the effect, but sometimes all of the causes for that effect are not here. And you have to keep looking and looking and looking and following the breadcrumbs to understand what is really going on. I grew up in the cult Jehovah's Witnesses, and even though medical care is allowed, it's only blood transfusions, and even that, they've kind of, wiggled it around a lot. So you're allowed to have parts of blood like plasma or other, you're allowed to have it in pieces, you're allowed to have your blood cleaned in that machine that puts it back and stuff like that. So most of the times it's not really a problem anymore, even though it used to be very barbaric. And in some countries, they're actually literally pressuring people to die for their faith, where there's just not the same infrastructure as other countries, because they're determined to have it all be the same everywhere. So it's like a worldwide system of cults run by the headquarters. I think they're in New York still, but they were moving them, so I haven't kept up. Yeah. But anyway, that's where I'm coming from, and I've known a lot of nice people who just cannot move from where they are. They have no resources. People are sick, and they can't get out of it. All they can do is make enough money to eat and to pay rent and to buy their children clothes, you know? So. It's just, if people are gonna get out of these bad situations, we can't just murder the cults because they're filled with innocent people. Leah Remini was a Scientologist before she left. We have to believe there are other people who don't want to stay but are too afraid to leave, that need ways of surviving, and when they don't have to rely on the cult to survive, more people can leave. It loosens it up. It's less afraid. There's less fighting, and it can dissolve more naturally. And if the people are allowed to get out, then they can go with the law against the people, make them pay money because they've saved all the money. They've been storing all the money up. They've been sucking from the patrons and making them give their whole life to this shit, including money, a lot of donations, just to be safe enough that the group's not going to kick you out. And that's preying off of our instincts. We need culture to survive. So a cult is when the culture is more important than the individual. And it's one thing to be all for one for all, but that means all for one as well, okay? If we're one for all, then it has to go the other way. If it's not taking care of the individual, they shouldn't. That's codependent. When you give, even though you're not getting anything back. Okay, and that's an addiction behavior. So, people are having an addiction relationship to the pride that the cult gives them, the sense of culture, the fact that everyone's always saying we're right and we're really happy and look how good we are and we're so much better than everyone else. And that's making people, pumping up their ego. They get addicted to that. And it's natural. So. Thank you for watching, and I hope enough people can understand and start to understand just what we want to ask for and what we want to tell people when we get the chance to use our voice, to know your priorities and not just being a social justice warrior where you go online all day doing campaigns trying to destroy everyone, take them over. Conquest is not the name of the game here. So, if you're gonna do that, go play Age of Empires. That's a fucking great game, and it will keep you occupied for so long. Or go watch football. Why don't ya? I'm more in support of football, to be honest, than I am of NASCAR. I'm really against NASCAR because I just don't see the social value. Those people seem lazy as fuck. They're just standing there watching something they could easily, one person, get a race car and race them around where, yeah, just do it in smaller groups. Or go to the racetrack. I think it's healthier for horses to run around than it is for us to burn that much gas into the environment. Like, just... and wasting it. We want to use that. What about space travel? Okay, because eventually the sun's going to blow up. I know it's not soon, but we don't know how fast we're going to be able to understand what's going on up there. Literally, we need to, like, have people go up there so that we can understand how to protect ourselves from the environment. Because there's no gravity in space, your body breaks down. We can't just send people to space like families and some cows or whatever. We can't just do Noah's Ark in space. Not yet. So if we want to think of the future, and even just because we're curious, could we use some of that gas for the rocket fuel? You know what I mean? And because when do we run out of oil? If some people are too stupid, or too depressed, or too myopic, too trapped, too ignorant. There's a lot of censorship still, especially when it comes to science. So many people don't trust science, and they don't understand that what you don't trust is the people. Because some of them are lying. And some of them are just mean. Oh my gosh. So, good luck. We're getting better. So, let's be patient, but not too patient. Okay, goodbye.